You are Locked On Knicks POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
This felt like opening night in reverse. The Knicks destroy the Pistons in Detroit, much like Boston blew out New York several weeks back. The Knicks defeat the Pistons, final score 128-98. All five Knicks starters scored in double digits. That's been a theme of late. We'll tell you about it. The four-game road trip now moves from Detroit south and west to Houston. Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Berman. If you're a New Yorker, you might recognize my work. If not, welcome aboard. A veteran of more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. You can follow me on X at Jay Berman. That's Jayberman. Welcome to the Locked On Knicks postcast, both on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel and the Locked On Knicks podcast feed. The postcast gives you a place to hang out after every single Knicks game. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. We'll chat everything Jalen Brunson, who, to no one's surprise, once again led the way. He was impressive in doing so. Karl Anthony Towns, solid in the win once again. OG and Josh Hart, both excellent. Three ball was prominent tonight. What else is new? It's 2024. It's the NBA. The three ball's going to be key. And, of course, we'll take a look ahead. As we said, that road trip continues. All that coming up on the postcast. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. By the way, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Knicks Daily Newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Knicks newsletter. As we said, 128-98, the final score is the Knicks rough up the Pistons in Detroit. And that is certainly worthy of note because, count them up with me, folks, 16 consecutive wins over the Pistons, including tonight. It dates back to the 2019-2020 season, pre-COVID. It's the longest active win streak in the NBA by one team over another. Again, 16 consecutive wins for the Knicks over Detroit. Tonight was the 16th, 128-98. And as we look inside the numbers, it starts with Jalen Brunson, who once again was phenomenal, scored 36, actually had 26 in the first half, obviously didn't play much of the second half. But again, 26 in the first half, 36 overall. He was 14 of 22 from the floor, 6 of 8 from three. He dished out 5 assists, 2 steals, only a couple of turnovers. Jalen Brunson, the captain, once again, brilliant. We told you about all 5 starters scoring in double digits. Here we go. Bridges 15, Anunoby 21, Towns 21. As we said, Brunson 36, Josh Hart had 13. Those are your 5 starters. 4 consecutive games now that all 5 starters have scored double digits. The team record all the way back in 1989 when they did that for 6 straight games. Amazing. From February through March of 89, 6 straight games where all 5 starters had double digits. By the way, yes, the Knicks have played 5 games, so now they're 3-2. In the season opener, 4 out of the 5 starters scored double digits. So if we had just notched that one as well, we'd be up to 5. No worries either way. We're at 4. And again, all 5 starters with double-digit points. Now, obviously, in a blowout, you're going to have excellent plus-minus numbers. But let me just give you a little bit of a flavor here. First of all, no Knick finished minus, obviously. Bridges plus 31 led the way. Just an astounding number. Karl Anthony Towns plus 28. Jalen Brunson plus 23. That just gives you an idea of how thoroughly outplayed the Pistons were by the Knicks. It was 39-13. after the first quarter. And as we said, three ball was a prominent feature in tonight's win. 18 of 38 for the Knicks from three-point land, which comes just about 47%, a tick north of 47%, which from three is obviously wonderful. At one point, it was over 50%. I believe they missed their last three three-pointers. So at one point, it was over 50%. Knicks were 52 for 101 from the floor, 52%. So once again, all five starters doing it, and they're even doing it on the defensive end as well. Knicks had 30 assists, 9 turnovers. Meanwhile, they forced plenty of turnovers on the Detroit side, so the Knicks defense with Tibbs doing it as well. As we said, 16 consecutive wins over the Detroit Pistons, all the way back to 2019-2020. Worthy of note, because the Knicks are obviously this new formed team moving forward. We've only got 5 games under our belt, but to just give you an idea of where teams stand specifically in the Eastern Conference, the Pistons are the 4th youngest team in the league. The average age of their roster, just above 24. So what does that mean? Well, it means the Knicks were in for a pleasant night. Some batting practice, if you will. And that's exactly what we expected. It's exactly what we got. The Knicks at one point were up 38. And when Tibbs empties the bench with more than 5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, you know things are up and things have gone, hopefully, the right way. But again, the Pistons, the 4th youngest team in the league, just above 24 years of age, on average age for the roster. They have not won 2 in a row since last March. The Pistons did beat Philadelphia in the game prior to this Knicks game. So they were trying to win 2 in a row again for the first time in quite some time. And the Knicks say, Again, 128-98, the final score. The Pistons were led by Cade Cunningham, who was obviously their best player. He pumped in 22 on 10 of 19 shooting. But again, between Cunningham and Ivy and Hardaway and Harris, the Knicks held the Pistons down. And that is excellent work from both the offense and obviously when Tibbs focuses on the defense, the Knicks are tough to beat. All right, as we said, 16 in a row against the Pistons. The Knicks are now 3-2. And as we said, that road trip, which went from Miami to Detroit, will now continue in Houston and Atlanta before the Knicks return home for the Bucks next week. After that, back out on the road for one in Indiana and one in Philadelphia. But again, the 4-game road trip, so far, so good. 2 down, 2 to go. The Knicks beat Miami 116-107 in the first game of the 4-game road trip. They beat Detroit tonight 128-98. They've got Houston Monday night. They've got Atlanta Wednesday night, both on the road. By the way, that Houston start time, 8:45 Eastern. Atlanta is 7:30 Eastern. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll line up the 3-ball from the corner pocket once again as the Knicks use the 3 prominently to knock off the Pistons tonight, 128-98. All right, listen up, NFL fans. Now is your chance to start the season with a big return. Yep. You can do it with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So here's what you do when you have a hunch in the middle of the game. Go over to FanDuel, check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more. The best part is it's all on the same page where you place your bets. Everything is right there for you. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Again, that's FanDuel.com. 128-98. That's the score tonight as the Knicks blow out the Pistons. Pistons are now 0-3 at home. Knicks are 2-1 on the road. And as we said, 2 down, 2 to go on this rough 4-game swing. The Knicks, again, started in Boston with a loss, then beat Indiana, lost to Cleveland, then beat Miami, and now they've beaten Detroit. So it's their first win streak of the season. They've put 2 together. They'll try to make it 3 in Houston on Monday night, as we said, again, 8:45 Eastern time. All right, once again, the Knicks starters, that's what it was all about tonight. And when Jalen Brunson leads the way with 36 on 14 of 22 shooting, you know it's going to be a good night. Karl Anthony Towns, 8 of 18. OG Anunoby, 8 of 15. Mikal Bridges, 6 of 13. And Josh Hart, 6 of 9. So everybody was real solid, 50% and above from the floor. Knicks getting it done. As we said, the assist to turnover ratio was strong as well. 30 turnovers to just 30 assists to just 9 turnovers. Josh Hart had 3 turnovers that led the way for the Knicks. I guess for the wrong reasons, but nonetheless, 3 is not a high number at all. Again, we told you about the plus minus. Mikal Bridges, plus 31. When he was on the court, the Knicks extended their lead. Again, all 5 starters for the 4th consecutive game scored double digits. Bridges had 15. Anunoby had 21, as did Karl Anthony Towns. And Towns finished following up his 44% point outburst in Miami with another solid outing tonight. As we said, he had 21 points, 11 rebounds, and a block. Also dished out 7 dimes. So he played well. OG had 21, including 3 3-pointers. Bridges had 3 3-pointers and 15 points. He also threw in 7 rebounds. But again, the Knicks, in a blowout city type game, take care of the Pistons, 128-98. The Knicks, as we said, led by 26 after 1, 39-13. And obviously the Pistons are an undermanned, undersized, under-veteran, if you will, unit. So the Knicks are going to exploit that and play well. But with that being said, it was still an excellent performance from beginning to end, wire to wire, as Kenny Albert said on the telecast. The Knicks just blow out the Pistons. They led by 23 at the half. They led by 30 after 3. And, of course, they go on to win 128-98, 36 from Jalen Brunson. As we said, the 4-game road swing continues down in Houston on Monday night. So the Knicks have a couple of days off, Saturday and Sunday, the weekend off. They'll get to watch some football on Saturday and obviously some football on Sunday as well. And then Monday night, they'll face the Rockets in Houston. Interesting machinations, if you will, of this road trip, starting in Miami, all the way south, then all the way north to Detroit, then back down to Houston, then across to Atlanta, before they return home for 1 game with Milwaukee, back out to Indiana and Philadelphia. So the beginning stretch here for the Knicks is not easy. However, after those 2 games, November 10th and 12th in Indiana and Philadelphia, respectively, it's 1, 2, 3 games at home, 4 games at home, including 2 with Brooklyn. They actually play in the Garden against the Brooklyn Nets the 15th and the 17th, back-to-back, again, at the Garden. They also play the Bulls and Washington on that 4-game homestand. But again, before we get there, we've got to turn our attention to the Houston Rockets. As we said, from Houston, then to Atlanta. We'll set our sights on the Atlanta Hawks as well. All right, 16 consecutive wins for the Knicks over the Detroit Pistons. That is the longest active win streak in the NBA by one team over another. The Knicks led by as many as 38. Amazing, considering they led by 26 after 1, 23 at the break, and then 30 after 3. There was no let up at any point. And I think that's one of the best signs you'll see from the Knicks. Sure, winning by 30 is a fantastic number. But still an excellent performance from front to back, top to bottom, east to west, left to right, up and down, if you will. The Knicks were excellent tonight. Again, 128-98. The Pistons were led by Cade Cunningham, who had 22, as we said, 10 of 19 shooting. The combination of Cunningham and Ivy, that's the future that the Pistons are certainly hoping for and relying on. But again, it wasn't to be tonight. Tobias Harris, the Long Island native, of course, signed a 2-year deal in Detroit. Tim Hardaway Jr., the former Knick. Good to see those guys still balling. But again, they're on a bad team, and it's going to be a long season for both Harris and Hardaway. We'll see how long they are on those squads. At some point, there's going to be an injury around the NBA, and obviously we'll get to the trade deadline as well. We'll see if Harris and Hardaway, that's a topic for another day. We'll see if those guys end up someplace else. We told you about Karl Anthony Towns exploding for 44 points against Miami on Wednesday. He attempted 25 field goals. Now, to give you an average, or to give you an idea of his average shot number, it has been way down with the exception of that 25 field goal attempt night, which netted them 44 points from Towns. He shot 25 field goals that night. Tonight, he shot 18 prior to the 25, all in the teens. So Karl Anthony Towns putting his team in front of himself. And when they needed him most, they leaned on his shoulders. He got the job done, as we said, with 44 the other night. He pumped in 21 tonight, grabbed 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, and a block, just 1 turnover. And we don't talk about it much, but I will say this. Karl Anthony Towns, who plays center for an NBA team, had 1 foul tonight. The Knicks are now a disciplined team, which is amazing to say, considering that's not the way the Knicks have done business in the past. But again, just 1 foul for their big man. Good stuff from Karl Anthony Towns. As we said, Jalen Brunson led the way, played just 31 minutes. Towns, by the way, just played 27 minutes. As we said, Tibbs emptied the bench with 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. If I didn't tell you the score, I didn't tell you how things went for 3.5, and I told you that Tibbs emptied the bench with 5.5 to play in the fourth quarter, you would have either thought the Knicks are up 30, which they were, or down 30, which obviously they were not. So excellent performance there. 128-98, Brunson led the way with 36. When we come back, we'll take one more look ahead at the schedule. And again, we'll set you up for Houston and Atlanta. All right, let's talk game time for a moment. One of my favorite things to do, I've discussed this before, is go see live events, be it a game, a concert, whatever. My favorite thing to do is go see live events. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. All righty, final segment of the show. As we said, the Knicks beat the Pistons 128-98 in a blowout, pillar to post, from beginning to end, wire to wire. The Knicks thumped the Pistons. As we said, they pumped in 18 three-pointers. Knicks shot just 10 free throws. Not very many fouls tonight. The Pistons shot just 7 free throws, which is amazing. The Knicks shot just 10. So 17 combined free throws, which again, a very disciplined game. But the Knicks got up so big, so quickly that the game was quick because there were basically no timeouts called. Everyone knew what the outcome would be. It was going to be a Knicks victory. Not a lot of substitutions until the fourth quarter, when basically everybody was substituted for on both sides. So again, very quick game. The outcome was, quote unquote, obvious from the beginning, or at least a couple of minutes in, when the Knicks just took off and did not look back. As we said, 39-13 in the opening stanza. So they were up 26 after 1. They were up 23 after 2, 30 after 3, and they finish 128-98. The Knicks have now beaten the Pistons 16 consecutive times. That dates back to the 1920 season. 2019-2020, pre-COVID, the longest active win streak in the NBA by one team over another. As we said, the Pistons, the fourth youngest team in the league, so they took one on the chin. At one point in the second half, the Knicks led by 38. 38. And that's basically at a point in the game where the Knicks weren't even trying anymore. So again, the Pistons will turn the page quickly on this one. The Knicks will look back at this one and say, wow, things went right. And things went right from beginning to end. As we said, 128-98. The Knicks are now 3-2, losses to Boston and Cleveland, wins over Indiana, Miami, and Detroit. The schedule has been brutal. As we said, Celtics, Pacers, Cavs, Heat to start. A little bit of a respite against the Pistons in Detroit, so they get the job done there as expected. 128-98. Next to Houston, Monday night, 8:45 tip time against the Rockets. Then Wednesday in Atlanta, Friday against Milwaukee back at the Garden, Sunday in Indiana. Again, that's a week from this coming Sunday, November 10th. 128-98. Knicks get 36 from Jalen Brunson, 14 of 22 from the floor. And again, the Knicks are now 3-2. We will see you Monday night after the Knicks and Rockets.